Homestead homies, I'm Anders Varner, and this week at Raising Redheads Ranch, we had a massive breakthrough that is going to make everything for the rest of the summer and hopefully the remaining amount of time, however long we spend at this ranch, incredibly cool. So when we bought our 17-acre plot of land out here, there was already a 10-year-old orchard on it. It's got 9 different fruits and there's 83 trees on it. And if you do the math on that, you're gonna realize that we have like 10,000 plus fruits that are gonna be coming each summer to us, and no idea how we're actually gonna be able to eat all of them, give them all away to all of our friends, and how do we kind of run this idea of a business of an orchard on a farm? We have no idea. So we're starting at zero. So if you have fruits, vegetables, maybe even livestock, and you're trying to figure out how you're gonna start your homestead business, this is the luck that we just came into, and really the 3 main pieces of this puzzle that we wanted to go solve, why it's so important, and then 2 of the biggest lessons that we've learned along the way of just being out here and meeting people and seeing where the opportunities are. So where we are, in North Carolina, there's actually this really small church about a quarter of a mile away from us. It's kind of run down. You wouldn't expect much of it outside of like a very small group of people. And in the plot of land right next to it, so there's probably about 2 acres of land. There's a church on one of the acres, and then next to it, they run a food co-op. And if I were to guess, it's called the Cowboy Church. And if I were to guess, there's a lot of farm hands. There's a lot of people that go to that church. They're looking for a much smaller community, and the co-op that they run through there is also where they probably weekly get a lot of their food, oftentimes packaged goods, not the most healthiest of things. And right on the corner that this place, that this church, the Cowboy Church is at, is actually the busiest intersection in the entire town that we live in. So it's actually it's a 5-way stop sign. There's 5 stop signs there, and in order to get anywhere in our city, you have to go through, or in our town, you have to go through this stop sign cluster to be able to get to any of the directions. So it's kind of like the center of town, even though it's not where all the shops and everything are. But anywhere you're going, you've got to go through this point. They actually call it 5 points because it's kind of like the dead center of where we live. It is the epicenter of all of the ability to get around town. So I've been eyeballing this thing and wondering what goes on in the Cowboy Church and how do I really have the goal of setting up our first farm stand in this place, working with the church, understanding the goals of the co-op. And I finally had the interest to go in this past weekend, the time of getting settled in. And I went in, their services from 10 to 11 on Sundays. So I went in at 11 o'clock, and the very first lady that came out to come and greet me also happened to be the person that runs the co-op. Now, here was my grand plan. First off, I've got 10,000 plus fruits that I need to get rid of each year, whether that's from me, family, friends, giving them away. It's endless how much fruit we are going to have on our property every single year. I also want to have some goodwill that goes along with this. So if I can give it to a co-op, that's amazing. And this is exactly how I wanted to actually align myself with the church, with the co-op, so that I could just bring good to our town. So the lady that came out, and I feel like this is how anytime you take action, just good things start happening to you. But the lady that came out introduces herself, and she asked how she could help us. I said, I'm just kind of looking for what goes on in this place, learning about it. And she goes, interestingly enough, I run the co-op. And I said, you are the exact person I'm trying to talk to here. And the way that we presented all of this is that I just want all of our food that we're not going to be eating as a family or giving away to extended family or friends to be sent there. Like, they're going to be able to disperse that food in such a better way than I'm going to be able to. They've got a broader reach. They've got this thing integrated in the community. And on top of that, they also have it integrated into other towns around us. So anything that they don't use in our town is also going to get shipped around to other co-ops. So we just get to extend the good and the goodwill that we are able to push out to all of the communities, which to me is absolutely phenomenal. From there, she went in and actually introduced me to the pastor, where I told him this big plan. And I said There's two main things that I'm looking for here. The first being I really want to support the co-op, which is really honestly true. I love the idea that we get to use our farm to support the co-op and the goodwill that goes along with that. The second thing is on this property, because it's such an awesome location in town, would you mind if my kids were able to set up their very first farm stand so that we can also, for the people that are able to pay for the food, be able to support the farm, be able to support the co-op, and they get to understand how to start a business, make money, and see what goes into actually building a business. Even if it's as small as a farm stand, it's just their first step into understanding how do you make a product, how do you make it taste good, how do you ask somebody for money, how do you receive that money, and tell them where you're going to be so that they continue to come back and develop a relationship so we have a consistent consumer base that always wants to come back and just be in our lives and helping us do the things that we want to be doing and helping us achieve our goals. That's really the sense of where we want to be with our farm. Now, there's amazing things to this. Not only do we get to do the farm stand, but one of the most important things to me in setting up all of this farm life was that my kids would be introduced to learning how to set up a business. Like it's one of the most important things to me in creating productive children, that we can just have them understand what actually drives societies, what actually drives business, what actually allows an economy to exist. Even if it's as small as a farm stand for their first step, to me, it's perfect. So we get to accomplish goal number one, and that the kids get to be about a part of the business. Number two is that we get to extend goodwill to the community that we live in. I love these people already. They're super friendly. They invited us into their church. They gave us their cell phone numbers. We met the people in the church. Our au pair is going to the women's night at the church. It's like a little home already, and we've only known these people for like 30 minutes. It's incredible goodwill that they're giving to us. We want to extend the goodwill to them. It warms everybody's hearts, and it's phenomenal. And then again, on the business side of things, here's the real beauty of this, is that the way that the co-op is set up is that it's actually a 501c3. So it's a nonprofit, which means on the back end, we're going to be able to write off all of the fruit that we donate to them on our taxes, which lowers our taxable income and makes everything cooler. So there's going to be small amounts of revenue up front through a farm stand. The goodwill that we are going to be establishing in the community with the church, with the people, spreading that to the other communities around town. And we get the tax breaks that come along with donating your time, energy, money to charitable foundations. And all of a sudden, there's three massive things that are going to be coming to us in this relationship. And I am so stoked about it. It is the coolest thing. I can't believe that we hit like the triple jackpot right off the bat. And the amount of revenue and whatnot is so minor compared to the experience that my kids are going to have doing this. We're going to be building our own farm stand. We're going to be setting up ways that people email lists, ways that people are able to stay in contact. We can contact them. We can teach them about being on video, maybe sending videos to the clients that want to be a part of it, giving away free seeds. There's so many ways with just a simple farm stand that they're going to learn how to interact with customers and people and bring value and goodwill to the community so that those people continue to come back, and we get to do it on the busiest intersection in our entire town. It is literally like the homestead lottery, and we're going to be homestead 100-aires off of this thing. And then, of course, if we get some awesome tax benefits by bringing goodwill to the community, who doesn't want that? So I don't know how your community works. I don't know where these cool parts are. But one thing that I do know, and this is from business, this is from life, this is from our current homestead journey and being able to meet these people, is that two things need to happen. The first is that you got to get out and go meet people. And the second thing is you got to go ask. It's important for you to just go figure out what's going on in town. I would have probably a decade ago never even looked at the Cowboy Church as something that I would have wanted to be a part of. I don't even know if I want to go to the Cowboy Church, but I love the people in there. They're super friendly. They really wanted us to be a part of it. They were over the top happy about the fact that fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh meat potentially, eggs would all be able to show up, because what do they get at these Goodwill or at these co-ops? They get tons of packaged canned foods. These things that are so low on the nutrition spectrum that they would do anything to have unlimited fruits and vegetables show up to their farm stand or to their co-op, as well as being able to share the things that we are looking for, which is having our kids be a part of the community, learn how to run a business, setting up a farm stand, being a part of something very productive and positive in the community. And all of a sudden we have this beautiful relationship back and forth. Meet the people, ask them what they need, how you can help, how you can push their message forward. And then at the very end of it, and not that it's contingent on the first part at all, but at the very end of it, ask them if they can help you out a little bit as well. And I almost guarantee you, the thing that I've learned about living out in the rural, the rural country more than anything in the past 2 months is literally just ask people. It's the easiest thing. Everybody in the country is reliant on everybody out here. We don't have all of these services in the suburbs and the cities. Like, that stuff doesn't exist. What you have is people that have skills, and if you ask them what their skill is, they are so willing to help you. They're the friendliest people ever. And I highly recommend just getting up and going to the places that you probably wouldn't have gone in the past. Go ask those people how you can help them with the assets that you have, the things that you're interested in. And I guarantee you they will share the goodwill back. And I feel like I just hit the homestead lottery that we get a farm stand on the biggest corner, the busiest intersection in our town, and we get to go help all the people that need the most help in this rural area, and life is good. Raising Redheads Ranch just hit the lottery. We are stoked about this, and now we got to go build a farm stand and go make some money. We're going to be homestead 100-aires.